Hey, Daddy.
Yeah, babe.
Have Grandma and Grandpa been married a long time?
Yep.
Like, before iPods?
Oh, way before iPods.
Before CDs?
Yep, before CDs.
Before cassette tapes?
Yes, even before cassette tapes.
What about 8-tracks?
Yep.
Hey, Daddy.
Yep.
Do you remember the day they got married?
I do remember the day they got married. I remember it like it was yesterday. The year was 1961. A little band called the Beatles performed for the first time at the Cavern Club in Liverpool. It had been just 53 years since the Cubs had won the World Series. The Apartment won the Oscar for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and West Side Story opened in theaters. Roger Maris hit his 61st home run to break Babe Ruth's record. And the space race was just starting to heat up. On April 12th, just after midnight Chicago time, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to travel into outer space. Foreboding clouds were forming in Asia, Germany, and Cuba, just 90 miles off our shore. New President John F. Kennedy pulled no punches in his first State of the Union address.
Life in 1961 will not be easy. Wishing it, predicting it, even asking for it, will not make it so. There will be further setbacks before the tide is turned, but turn it we must.
And there would be worse. Cuban armed forces defeated CIA-trained Cuban exiles attempting to overthrow the government of Fidel Castro in what would become known as the Bay of Pigs. Construction of the Berlin Wall began to form a clear boundary between Western Europe and Eastern Europe. And before 1961 was over, Kennedy had sent 18,000 military advisors to South Vietnam, marking the formal beginning of the Vietnam War. But into this dark world, a ray of sunshine broke through the gathering storm clouds. On a spring day, on the final weekend of April, in a small chapel in front of gathered friends and family, a young couple gazed into each other's eyes and pledged devotion for life. Marina Prusakova married Lee Harvey Oswald in Minsk, Russia.
Not that wedding.
Oh, right. Linda Lee Lambert married William Lyle Fox Jr. at the First Presbyterian Church of Libertyville. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To truly appreciate this marriage, half a century ago, one must travel from Libertyville to Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles to Tokyo, and then on to Moscow, and London's Heathrow Airport, before catching a transatlantic flight to New York, and our final destination, Watseka, a small, rural town that sits amidst cornfields and row upon row of soybeans. That's where a little boy named Billy and his young brother Denny lived. Billy and Denny whiled away their days in this hard-scrabble farm town. Billy was a lot like other boys who played in the empty lots and plowed fields near their homes. He liked to fly kites with the neighbor kids. A bit of a daredevil, young Billy liked to swing higher than anyone else, including his little brother, who was plagued by debilitating bouts of vertigo. If it wasn't soaring to great heights, it was speeding down the street on roller skates, his trousers billowing in the wind like boat sails. And nothing beat the scorching summer heat like the cool, refreshing waters of a drainage ditch, flowing beneath a highway overpass. Life was simple for young Billy and his friends, but somehow he knew there was something missing. Girls. Oh, sure, there were women around, but these were pioneer women of hardy stock, rough and tumble women who liked to catch their own fish, women who skinned their own squirrel meat and then forced the rest of the family to eat it and pretend they liked it. But most of all, these women in Billy's life liked to perform death-defying circus acts, such as chopping down trees while balanced on 3 precarious cinder blocks stacked on a chair. Sure, young Billy got a kick out of watching Denny play fetch with himself while their dog kept watch from a distance. But life in Little Watseka could get kind of boring at times. And tragically, at a young age, Billy turned to the bottle to silence his personal demons. 100 miles and a world away, on a shaded, tree-lined street in a small brick bungalow, lived little Linda Lambert. Linda, truth be known, was a little bit of hell on wheels herself. And to keep her on her toes, her family liked to set the 2-year-old in the middle of the street to dodge oncoming traffic. If she avoided getting hit, they would reward her with a bright red pinwheel, and this made her very happy. Little Linda dodged enough traffic to survive those early formative years and soon blossomed into a blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauty. Linda liked to do all the same things little girls her age did. She played dress-up. She pampered her dolls and took them on long walks in the stroller. And she held afternoon teas with her stuffed friends. A bit of a ham, she liked to pose for the camera like a Hollywood starlet. And, except for a brief period when her parents put her to work in the family Chinese laundry, little Linda enjoyed a mostly carefree childhood. She especially liked playing with her dog. Linda liked riding her bike, playing in her wagon, swinging on swings, and enjoying the undivided attention of her family. And then one day, something even more special came into her life. Linda got a little sister. Linda and Penny were joined at the hip from the very beginning. They did everything together. Linda even taught her sister how to ride her bike in the yard, where they were confined following an unfortunate encounter with Child Protective Services. But even little Linda couldn't hide her disappointment with the boys who came into her life. Through no fault of their own, she saw those boys as immature, with a poor sense of fashion. In some, they simply didn't measure up. And soon, the little girl was all grown up. She was on 2 wheels, and she was back on the open road, looking for adventure.